I'll continue on the Shanti Mantra, Shanti Pata of Kenopanishad. Please recite the mantra along with me first. Apyayantu mamangani vak pranachakshuh श्रोत्रमतो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मामा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्व निराकरणं मे अस्तु ततात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ओम शांति शांति शांति. Beautiful. Sarvam Brahmopanishadam. Please understand. First thing, Upanishadic rishis are making a well. First thing they are teaching you is strengthen your limbs, listening, seeing, body, mind, vital life energy, strengthening all of that, create a will to mature and strengthen your body and mind. Understand whatever exists is consciousness, including what you don't like in the life. Even the things you feel you don't like, not part of you. Remember, Sarvam Brahmopanishadam. Everything is consciousness. Means you made everything in your life. You made everything in your life. Understand? I am not talking this idea that you made everything in your life as a philosophy, moral. No. I am uttering these words as the simple facts you need to know, the truth you need to be informed before you strategize about your future existence. Life is all about strategizing for future existence. You exist to strategize for your future existence. For the right strategy to happen in you, you need to be informed of these basic truths Sarvam Brahmopanishatam. Everything exists is consciousness. Everything exists is consciousness. I still remember I was 8 or 9-year-old boy sitting with two of my gurus. I had the fortune of having 4 or 5 gurus continuously making all their time and energy available to me. So two of my gurus, I was sitting with two of my gurus, and the temple bell rang. The lifestyle in Arunachala is so beautiful. You know it is morning only when you hear the temple bell. You know it is breakfast time by listening the crackers in the temple. Every puja, there will be temple crackers. All the 6 pujas, there will be temple crackers. Only listening to that sound we know the time. So the temple bell rang, means Nevedyam. The food is being offered to Sadashiva. Both my gurus immediately looked at me and said, go and bring the prasadam. After the Nevedyam is done, it will be given to all the devotees. It will be shared with all the devotees. They both were sitting in one corner and asked me, go and bring. I went to the place where they distribute the prasadam and waited. Puja was over. The rituals got completed and they started serving. And I stretched my hand and the priest gave one share. It's like one share itself will be almost like half a kg rice. In one big leaf they'll give. And then the pujari was telling, the pujari saw before going to the puja that I was sitting with both my gurus, and the pujari is very greatly devoted, highly devoted to both the gurus. So the pujari saw and told me, hey, take 2 more for them also. They are sitting. Take 1 for you, take 2 more for them. I was a little reluctant because one of the boy and girl who were my classmates are standing in the queue next to me. They will laugh at me, taking so much, all for one person. So for this purpose only you are sitting in the temple whole day. That's the way they usually make fun of kids. So, and I know already they are gazing at me in the mood of making fun. I felt little pride. I am from a big family, and again I have been told from beginning that you are from big family and you have to behave yourself like that in the public. So I told the pujari, no need, this is enough, and I brought the Nevedyam to both my gurus. They asked, hey, where is our share? Did the pujari not give? As if they both eat. Actually, both the fellows doesn't eat anything. Very rarely they will touch and put 2-3 grains in the mouth and give it to other people who are sitting with them. And I said, no, you don't eat. You eat rarely. This is more than enough for all 3 of us. They asked, no, did that pujari give or not? I said, yes, he gave. He wanted to give. He asked me, take 2 more to the both the Swamis. Then they asked, why did you refuse? No, no, behind me, my classmates were standing. They will make fun of me that I am taking so much. Am I going to eat so much? And for this food only I am in the temple. They will tease me. I don't want to get teased by them, so I brought only my portion. Till this moment, they were very casual, laughing, smiling. Immediately I saw Kuppamal staring at my eyes and saying, go to their shop street and beg and bring the food. That's the word she uttered. They both own a shop. This means their father owns a shop. The same street where my father also owns shop, and the whole street is literally ruled by my grandfather. He is the head of that whole association. So I always walk in that street with the pride. I'm a grandson of this guy, And all the shop owners are either family or friends. So any shop we enter and eat anything, whether it is jaggery or dal or anything in any of the shops is free, and we'll directly go and sit. And in village actually we know literally everyone's name. And it's a different lifestyle. But in that same street I have to beg now. All will make fun. What happened to your grandfather and his wealth? They will ask all questions and they will tell my grandfather. That is the next problem. That your grandson is begging in the street. Why you are not giving food for him? Of course, one good thing I had. I think this is the greatest boon Sadashiva gave. Just obeying the Guru Vak. I think that's the greatest wealth I brought with me, I tell you. The future may describe various things as my main contribution. Some may say my Gurukul is my contribution, and some may say the science of manifesting powers is my great contribution. Some may say science of enlightenment is my great contribution. But I tell you, the greatest thing I brought, which was useful for me, is surrender to the Guru Vak. If any of you feel in a very short span, in a very young age, in small number of years, I have done big work. Whoever feels, if you feel that, if you want to know the secret, I tell you, complete surrender to the Guru Vak, to the letter and spirit, that reduced lot of time wastage. The moment my Guru said, go and beg the same street, in the same shop and bring food, I know now it is a serious. It's not casual. It's not fun anymore. It means I have done something out of my pattern or out of the context which my masters are correcting. I tell you, I stood up, straight went to that street, begged, and brought whatever I got. Naturally, all friends, family, they all gave so many things. I have to take a small pulling cart. In villages, there will not be rickshaw, the hand pulled cart. So I have to hire a small hand pulled cart to bring all the items I got as bhiksha to my guru. So I hired a small vehicle and brought the whole thing and put it at the feet of both the gurus, and I realized, understand, that was one of the greatest realization I had. I should not be bothered about imaginary opinions of others. I tell you, the liberation that happened at that moment is still now useful for me. Next day, I had a chance to talk to both my friends. They were asking me, hey, why were you going for bhiksha in all the shops? Did you do any prayer, or is it any divine commitment? In villages, we have a habit that if somebody is sick, they pray to Venkateshwara and Kuladevata, that they will go for bhiksha and bring and offer it in the undi. Still we do that. Every Puratasi month, all the Vaishnavas, they go for bhiksha and take it and offer it to Vishnu temple, and Shaivites, every Margasirsha month, go for bhiksha and offer it to the Shiva temple. They asked, when both the friends asked me that, hey, did you have any prayer? Why were you begging? In the mind, I was thinking, only you fellows are responsible for my begging. And only now I understand. You guys did not even have the idea which I was thinking you guys will be having. I want this to be one of the important lessons for our Gurukul syllabus. All the Gurukuls, weekend Gurukuls and full-time Gurukuls, residential Gurukuls, take note of this. Every seeker, whether a child or adult, every seeker should be taught this truth. Anything they feel in their life which is not part of God, or with anything they are not comfortable, they are uneasy, disconnected, they should sit and dig out the core experience of disconnect. Why? It will always be immature cognitions swallowed by you because of your immaturity, which is from immature people. Immature cognitions swallowed by you because of your immaturity, which is by itself from immature people. Dig out, at least know it. Know it. At one day you may gain the wealth of surrender to Guru Vak after enough of torture by the life. That day, at least you will come out of this pattern. I tell you, the greatest wealth in the life is surrender to Guru Vak, because that comes after being beaten enough. Only if you have been beaten enough, that comes. Surrender is not something beneficiary to me. When you do, you save wasting your life behind stupid patterns.